Hello, Anna. It's been a long time since I've made one of these videos for you, but I sent you a recipe yesterday and I thought maybe I should make a video of this one because it's kind of complicated. Worth the trouble though, in my opinion. So this is for a German cookie called a Lebkuchen. Hopefully I'm saying that right. I got some help. I don't speak German, as you know. Anyway, you might remember, Anna, when you were a little girl, my sister Linda sent us a large tin of these delicious German cookies, and it was Lebkuchen. And in fact, she sent us this gift twice because she lived in Germany. And it was years before I would find a recipe for it, but I did, and I want to share that with you. So first, let's go over the ingredients. There are some things I want to talk to you about. Flour and sugar, you know what that looks like. I don't need to show you my flour and sugar container. So we also need butter, and you know what that is too. By the way, 1/4 cup of butter equals half a stick. So that's 1/4 cup. It's also 4 tablespoons. So either way, so I've got a half a stick over there waiting for me, and it is room temperature, needs to be. So we also need an egg, and even though you know what that looks like, I happen to have one right here. That's my egg. All right, then we're gonna need some canola oil. Canola, it's not much, just a tablespoon. And we need some quick cooking oats. You can't tell from this is my container. Not rolled oats, quick cooking oats, okay? Flour. Okay, so then it called for ground almonds, and I do have some almonds. I keep my nuts in the freezer so they don't go rancid. But you know what I also found in the freezer? This. Almond flour or almond meal, or it calls for ground almonds. So this is a way easier way to do it, and I happen to have it on hand. You can do it easily with a food processor. I probably would have used my, what do you call that thing? Wait, hold on. Sorry about that. My memory fails me. It's what happens when you get older. Anyway, what I was trying to think of is my magic bullet. So if you have a magic bullet, and I don't know if you do or not, this is not a bad way to grind almonds or spices is what I use it for. So the little thing with that kind of blade, it's a flat blade. It does a good job with hard things like that, grinding. Anyway, so that's the almonds. And then you're gonna see, actually, I have to grind some hazelnuts. So I'll show you how I use my magic bullet to grind nuts, specifically hazelnuts, because that's what else you need. This recipe does call for quite a number of ingredients. Next thing we're gonna need is some cocoa. I have Trader Joe's. If you have Hershey's, no problem. Any kind. It doesn't have to be Dutch chocolate, just cocoa. And then baking powder, not soda, not baking soda. And then I need some, let's put this thing down. I need some cloves, ground cloves, some cardamom, also ground, and allspice, also ground. Not a surprise, it's going in a cookie. Don't want to take a bite out of a big chunk of cardamom, do we? Okay, and then we're also going to have some cinnamon. Well, Pinsies. Notice that I am a big Pinsies fan. He's a cool guy, Bill Pinsey. All right. Oh, okay. So then I'm going to need some candied orange peel. And I have this left over from last year. It's going to be fine. It's candied. It's not going to go bad. I'm going to need to make some orange peel, some candied lemon peel. Right. And I'll show you how to do that. For that, I'm going to need sugar, 3 lemons, and water. I think that's all. Anyway, we'll get to that. So that's all for the cookie. But here's what I have to talk to you about. The first part of the recipe gives you the ingredients for, I don't know what they call it, but it's to replace this. This is what the authentic Lebkuchen have. In fact, here's pictures of it. Two different flavors, Lebkuchen. And you see on the bottom is this little white thing. I doubt you've ever taken communion because we just didn't do that when you were growing up. But in the Episcopal church I used to attend, for communion, you would have these little wafers that are almost like paper. I kind of liked them. They aren't very flavorful, but that's what this reminds me of. It's very thin. It's white. I'm sure it's made of egg whites, and it just makes a nice bottom. You don't have to buy these. I got these at Amazon, and you could buy them. They last a long time. I won't say how long it's been since I bought them. They're still good. Made in Germany. Woohoo! So if you don't want to do this, no problem. You can follow the recipe and you can make whatever similar. I've never made these. But I can tell you this. Here's why I thought, oh, I got to pull these things out. It's because in the directions it says to roll this dough out. I don't know what the dough looks like since I've never made it. Roll it out to 1/16 of an inch thick. And I thought, I don't want to deal with that. Can you imagine using a spatula to remove a little wafer that's 1/16 of an inch and move it over to a pan and bake it? And I don't know. I don't want to do it. This. You do what you want. Okay, the only other thing we need is for the topping. This is actually going to be chocolate Lebkuchen. So I've got 6 ounces of chocolate here. It's left over from other things I've made, so I just poured it in the container, but that's fine. It'll be just fine. That's semi-sweet or dark chocolate. And then you need a couple of ounces of unsweetened. There probably is another brand, but all I know is Baker's. Anyway, unsweetened is important. So you're going to use both, semi-sweet and unsweetened. And butter, another 1/4 cup. So that's what we need. Now I'm going to go pick some lemons off of my tree because I don't have any in the kitchen. And we'll make some candied lemon peel first. Okay, so I have my lemons, 3 lemons right here. And now I'm gonna cut them. So I have to cut them in 1/4 inch circles and remove the pulp, so it might get messy. So I think what I'll do, I think I'll get a bowl to put that, messy lemon pulp in, and I'll figure out what to do with that later. So here's my work surface. Get it right. And here we go. So here's my lemon. I'm just going to cut it in 1/4 inch rounds. So I have to figure out how not to waste that. That's why I hesitated. Well, I don't know if you know that I hesitated. Anyway, 1/4 inch. So I'm going to do this with all 3 of these and not make you watch each individual one. Okay, here's my sliced lemons. We have to take out the pulp. So I'm going to use this little spoon. Hopefully you have something you can use just to try to scoop that out. And I really don't know what I'm going to do with it. But, okay. A little tricky for the end pieces, but that's okay. Got a little cup. So let's do one of these, and then I will, I don't even know. Might be better to use a knife to cut through this, although this is kind of coming all right. Can you see? I hope you can see. Yeah, not bad. Well, actually, I can even, so that's all right. That's actually the goal. I want to cut them into long strips like that. So there's that. Okay, I'll do that while you, I don't know, wait for the next one, next part. Okay, before I let you go, I thought I'd show you another way you can do this. Don't cut yourself, but you can just kind of run a paring knife through the pith with the tip of the knife. I don't know if you can see this, but there it is. And I did it all the way around, and there's my circle and my other thing. Okay, so however you do it, doesn't matter, but let's get it done. Okay, there's one more way you can do it. You can just push it with your hands, as I just discovered. Let me do one more while you're here. Just kind of use your fingernail to make that initial break. And do this. And if it breaks, that's fine, because you're going to cut it anyway. Okay. There's that. I'm still working on it. Okay, I have my rings. So I ended up using the spoon mostly for the end pieces, because I could just, you know, scoop it out, scrape it. But that's all I use that for. I used this sometimes, you know, to cut around if it was stubborn. But for most of them, I just did it by hand. And here's my little rounds that I'll have to figure out what to do with later. Next, we need to remove the white pith. All we want is the skin, the yellow part. Oh, by the way, you might have noticed that my lemons are kind of orange. I mean, the peels are kind of orange. And that's because it's a Meyer lemon. And Meyer lemons are actually a cross between, I think it's a tangerine and a regular lemon, I think. Anyway, yeah, they are kind of orange. And the skins are thinner than the kind you get in the supermarket. But anyway, so you're going to have thin, candied lemon peel strips, but that's okay. And you also want to cut it like this, because what you want is long strips. So I'm going to go through and use my paring knife to gently kind of cut that white away. And I have another bowl here to put the peels in. You can throw this part away, unless you like to eat it, but my sister and I used to like to eat the pith of the orange. I don't know, people usually don't like that, but we thought it was yummy. But not lemon, that's just too sour. So you see I'm getting away almost all of the white. You can see the little yellow specks in there. I got to get this part though. Just take it easy, slow, you know. You can just slice it like that. And that's not enough. I need to get more of that off. I'm trying to get as much of that white off as I can. The white, by the way, is actually bitter. That's why we don't use it. So there's one. Ready to go. And I'll put it in my new bowl. Now I'll show you how to do this one. Maybe before I let you go. This one's going to be a little trickier, and it would be very easy to cut yourself, so be very careful. I'm just going to go around the perimeter. Around. And it's, okay, so it's separated all around the edges, but I need to cut that off. So I'll just do that. And I need to work on that some more because there's just too much stuff in there. So I'm just going to keep trimming. Looking for those orange dots. Turn that away. Okay. And then I noticed there's a little dot. I don't want that in my candy, so I'm going to cut it off. You don't have to. If it doesn't bother you, whatever. And since what I'm going for is long strips, I can't have long strips, but I can cut this. Remember that was a 1/4 inch, so I'm gonna go for that. Just cut it in pieces, 1/4 inch, like that. Okay. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start off with a ring by cutting it like that, so I can, you know, stretch it out, scrape that stuff off. Anyway, that's all you got to do. I'll see you when I'm done. Wouldn't you know, the very first one that I do broke in half, and I just wanted to show you and say it doesn't matter. You don't have to have long strips because we're going to chop this up finely. Anyway, that's fine if it breaks, whatever. I just like the long strips because it's easier to work with. I just checked my recipe. Turns out I don't actually have to remove the white, but I'm going to keep doing it because I think it'll be better that way. But I'm not going to be quite as careful. So like this last one, after I discovered it, there's some white there. I mean, you can see some orange. So I'm just not going to be picky. Anyway, I just want to tell you that. Okay, I have them. Here we go. Now that, believe it or not, is 3 lemons. It's not a whole lot. So I'm thinking about adjusting my recipe. The recipe calls for 3 lemons, like that, and 8 cups of cold water and 2 cups of sugar. 2 cups of sugar for that. That, I assure you, is not a cup even. Maybe half a cup. I think I'm gonna use half the water and half the sugar. We'll see how that goes. I think it'll be fine. So, I got my pot, my saucepan, and I'm going to look at my recipe. I'll get right back. All right, so I have 4 cups of water in here, just water. 4 cups of water, and I'm putting the lemon peel in. And as you can see, there's a lot of water here. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this 3 times. We're going to put that mixture on the stove, bring it to a boil, turn it off, drain it, rinse it, boil it again. We're gonna do that 3 times. So here's number 1. So I could have used a smaller pot. I was expecting to use twice as much water and sugar. Haven't put sugar in yet, that's later. But I did put a lid on it because that is gonna make it boil faster. So we're gonna bring it to a boil, turn off the heat, go back to that yellow strainer, strain it, rinse it, put 4 more cups of water. I don't know why I have to put 4 more cups of water. I might use less water. I'll have to take a look at the recipe and decide. Anyway, that's what we're doing right now. Just waiting. Okay. So, I don't like to just stand around while I wait for something like water to boil. I think what I'm going to do after this is I'm not going to use 4 cups of water every time. So I looked at my recipe and I don't have to rinse the peels. So once that boils, turn off the heat, drain it, put some more cold water in the pot. What I'm going to do is put the lemon peels back in and make sure, you know, the water covers them. But look at this. That's a lot of water. I have to wait for that to boil. And I have to do it 3 times. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to cover the lemon peels. I'm going to cover them with water, but I'm not going to put 4 cups because I don't need to. I'm just going to dump it back out. So what I'm going to do instead of waiting around is I have some orange peel that I need to chop finely. This is a good time. I need 1/4 cup. So let's do that. By the way, you make the orange peel, the candied orange peel that I'm going to chop up. You make that the same way, except you only have to change the water once. If you're going to do grapefruit, by the way, you have to boil it 5 times, not just 3 like for the lemon. But orange is already made. Yay. And I can hear, sounds like this is going to be boiling very soon. There's just little bubbles around the edge. So, well, I'll get started with the orange and I'll hear this. So here's my setup for chopping the orange peel. Here's my 1/4 cup. That's what I need. That's how much I need. These are from last year. They're fine. I mean, they are dried, but that's perfect. It's gonna go in a cookie. So I'm just gonna chop these. Yeah, it's pretty hard. You might have a better way to do this. Feel free. In fact, let me know if you come up with a better way. Maybe I'll change. Oh, almost forgot. There's a wonderful, what do we call it? Not a side dish. A wonderful thing that you get out of this, besides the candied peel, I have in my refrigerator this orange syrup. And that syrup is what we're going to end up with. See, I still have some lemon syrup, quite a lot actually, from when I made the lemon ones before. That stuff is really good in cocktails or other, drinks or desserts. It's just yummy syrup. I've put it in my oatmeal before, just a little bit, All right, so this is boiling. So here we go. We're going to drain it. And I don't need to rinse it. I'll just, drain it really well. Put some water here. And this time I'm not going to measure it. Cold water, I don't know, maybe 1.5 cups, 2 cups. Let's see. It's plenty. Unfortunately, I only have one hand. Oh, okay. So see, that's only like half as much water as I used before. So this is our second time boiling it. Oh. And there we go. So let's get back to this chopping the orange peel. Okay. I'm just doing little squares. It says finely chop. Yeah. Oh yeah. Look out. It might shoot all over the kitchen. Oh, you can buy, I keep forgetting things I was going to tell you. You can buy this stuff. If you want to just buy candied orange peel and candied lemon peel, I'm sure you could get it, probably from Amazon. You can get just about everything at Amazon. I like doing things fresh, and this is cheaper, and whatever. Anyway, the white you see here is not pith, it's sugar. It's actually sugar. I'm realizing that there's really it would be easy to cut yourself, so be careful. Also easy to shoot little bits all over the kitchen that you got to clean up later. So you know about that. All right, I'll be back. Okay, I have done it 3 times, and here are my peels. See, all hot. So, and I'm going to use the same pot to mix up some sugar water. So I need to mix, so the recipe says 2 cups of sugar and 2 cups of water. Since I used Meyer lemons, and I know I have less actual lemon than I would if I had been using store-bought lemons, instead of 2 cups of each, I'm going to use 1.5. That's probably even more than I need, but I'm going to go with that. So I'm going to put 2 cups of each of those things, and I'll be right back. Okay, I have 1.5 cups of water and 1.5 cups of sugar, and I've got them in the pot, and I'm going to turn that on, and I'm going to bring it to a boil. Okay, I'm going to stir it up. What I really want to do is melt the sugar. That's all, just melt the sugar. And bringing it to a boil will do just that. So after it starts boiling, I'm going to put those lemon peels in the water, and I'm going to cook it until, it says until the pith is translucent. And remember, we removed most of the pith, but I can still see some opaque pith here, so we'll be fine. Just gotta bring this to a boil, melt the sugar, and then throw that in. As you can see, the sugar has melted. I just want to bring it to a boil before I put the lemon peel in. I'm going to put this lid on and wait a couple of minutes, because that'll make it boil faster. As you can see, it's boiling. So I'm going to put in the lemon peel. Stir it up. I'm going to turn it down to low temperature and just let it cook for a while. Well, I'm going to start with medium because I guess it wasn't a full rolling boil. Look what happened. When it gets, all right, I'm going to do this again. I want it boiling. I want it simmering. So when it starts simmering, oh, it's starting to simmer. Okay. I'm going to leave it at medium until it looks like it's going too fast, because this is simmering right here. And the recipe doesn't say how long it has to boil. We're just going to watch for the pith, and when it looks translucent, you can see, like that one, for instance, it's a good one to look at because it's pretty white on that side. Anyway, let that go. Keep an ear out for it. You know, if it gets to boiling too hard, I'll turn it down a little. It's still on medium. Anyway, that's that. As you can see, I'm boiling or simmering the lemon peel. But if you look, this is still opaque. So I'm cooking it until that pith is translucent. So meanwhile, let's come back over here and get going with the actual cookie. So I got a bowl here. I'm going to add butter and sugar. Actually, I'm going to beat them with a hand mixer, but here. There's a 1/4 cup butter. There. And a 1/4 cup sugar. And that's what I'm gonna beat. That's what I'm gonna beat. So, quarter cup sugar. I'm going to use a hand mixer for this, and it's going to be rather noisy, so I'm going to turn off the video so I don't make an awful sound for you. Okay, I just beat this until it was light and fluffy. It's also spread around the bowl. Now I'm going to add the egg and a tablespoon of canola oil. So here's my egg. And here's my oil. So I'm going to beat this together. Just get all that oil out. You never see them do this on TV, do you? I think they're wasteful. Anyway, so I'm going to beat this, mix it all up, and then I'll show you what's next. I have beaten the egg into the sugar and butter, and we're going to have to add some things. So I need to set that aside. As you can see, the lemon peels are still boiling. They're not translucent. Anyway, I've got some hazelnuts that I need to grind, but before I can grind them, I want to get rid of those skins. Right, so here's how we do that. Usually I would heat them first, but I think I can do all right without heating them. I'm going to, some of the skins are off already, so I'm just going to kind of try to rub the ones that are like heavily coated with skins. Put them here. They come off pretty easily. Some of them already have the skins off, as you can see, and that's great. I'm doing it one by one because I got all this skins, you know, on the bottom here, and I don't want to add them. If it doesn't come off easily, whatever, just put them in there. Just stick them on a towel, clean, obviously. Yeah, some of them are being stubborn. It's not the worst thing in the world if a little bit of skins end up in the cookies. You'll never know. But I like to get rid of them. You know, it's a texture thing. So, do this. Yeah, some of the skins are just not coming off. What I'm going to end up doing, I'll tell you in a minute. I'm going to use this to grind them because it's supposed to be ground. And the ones that are naked, so to speak, I'm just going to stick them in here for now. Because I don't need to try to get the skins off the ones that already have the skins off, right? That's got a little bit. I'll put that in. Okay, just for the ones that are skinless, or very nearly skinless. All right, there's another. Oh, that one's skinless now. Usually I will roast them for a few minutes until they're fragrant, you know, and then I think the skins come out off easier. I just don't want to fool with it right now. Now, see, all of that is just skins. That's why I didn't just dump it on the towel. So I'm going to move that out of the way. Try to get some of this off the towel. Whatever. So here's what I'm getting at. I want to close it up and then just rub it like this. And a lot of the skins will come off this way. And I'm inclined to say, whatever doesn't come off with this goes in the cookies. Okay, let's see how it did. How'd that work? I got some of it off. That one's being stubborn. So I'm just gonna throw them in. Because, you know, just can't be that bothered. Oh, I could try this. Yeah, it didn't really do anything. Okay, never mind. Some recipes are more particular about, you know, getting those skins off. So now I can take this in the yard later and just shake it out and, you know, plants will be happy. So here's my quarter cup of hazelnuts. I'm going to go grind them with my magic bullet. Okay, here's my ground hazelnuts. As you can see, the magic bullet does a good job. I did have to stop it after most of it was ground because there were some nuts that were being stubborn. So I just put them through a little bit more. Oh, and I pulsed. I didn't just, you know, put it on grind and leave it because I didn't want hazelnut butter. I just want ground hazelnuts. So set that aside. Here's my creamed butter and sugar and whatever else I put in here. Oh, an egg and some oil. Now I'm going to add some other stuff. I'm going to start with 2/3 of a cup of quick cooking oats. And then flour. I need a 1/2 cup of flour. That's over here. So, yeah. Not quite as organized as I'd like to be, but, you know, it is my kitchen. I'll clean it later. Okay, I need a 1/2 cup of flour. There's that. I'm not sure if I'm going to need to beat that. Maybe I just stir it. I'll look at the recipe. Okay, that's flour, nuts. So here goes this. I'm just going to put this aside for a minute. Here's my hazelnuts. And then I need almond meal. I think that was a 1/2 cup. Ground almonds, yeah, a 1/3 cup, excuse me. 1/3 cup ground almonds. I just took a look at the lemon peel. It's still simmering. Taking a while. Okay. And ground almonds, 1/3 cup. I think I have some more in the freezer in case this isn't enough, and I got a few minutes. I don't know. Well, it's very close, but I think I better go look in the freezer, see if I've got some more. Turns out I don't have any more. I have some almond flour, but I'm not going to use that. And this is so close. I'm just going to use this. It's a nut. It's a cookie. Doesn't have to be exact. But try to get it as close as possible and it'll turn out best. So there's my nuts. And then I want some cocoa. I need a 1/4 cup of that. So here's my 1/4 cup. Get my cocoa. So here's my 1/4 cup of cocoa. And now I'm going to add the spices. So I have, I might have to add the baking powder now. Yes, baking powder and spices. So I need to add a teaspoon of baking powder. Hold on. Okay, here's my teaspoon of baking powder. And then I need, let's see what I have here. Cardamom. So I'm going to need 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon and a 1/4 teaspoon of each of these cardamom, allspice, and cloves. And I'll be right back. 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon. Boom. 1/4 teaspoon of each of these. Here's my cardamom. It smells so good. 1/4 teaspoon. 1/4 teaspoon allspice. Weird to have a spice called allspice, and it's just one thing. It's not a mix. It sure smells good though. All of these things smell good. And 1/4 teaspoon of cloves. That's kind of a lot of cloves. It's a strong spice. Always reminds me of having a toothache when I was a kid. There was this oil of cloves that you'd put on your cavity, really. And it would act as a sort of a numbing agent. All right, so that's my spices. And that's it. So I am gonna mix it with the mixer and see what we get. I just beat it. If you had been here, I would have let you lick one of the beaters. I just tasted it, and this stuff is delicious. This is a great dough, but it's not very much. I guess it's not going to make very many. Anyway, all we have now to do is to fold in the peels, the candied peels, and so I'll put the orange in there. The lemon is still cooking, so I'm not even gonna, well, okay, I will. I was gonna say I'm not gonna mix the orange in it until I have the lemon too, but it's pretty dry, so I think it'd be kind of nice to have it sit in the damp dough. Let's go over here and take a look at the lemon. Here's the lemon peel, candied lemon peel. All right. Well, I'm not seeing a whole lot of white. There's that one. You know, I'm going to go with it. So I'm going to turn it off, turn off the heat. I have this pan, which isn't beautiful, but it is sentimental for me. It belonged to my dear Aunt Hazel. So I like to use it, even though it is old. So I'm going to use a slotted spoon to remove the candy. Yeah, drain all that syrup off. And that syrup is really delicious. You can use it in a lot of stuff. Drain it, put it in the pan, spread it a bit. I'm not going to have a lot of extra here, even though it calls for only a quarter cup. All right, then I'll get this lovely orange syrup left. Put that down. And that is it. That's it. That's all I have. So, but I'm not done. So put that aside. At this point, you can put the peel with the syrup in the refrigerator if you want to keep it soft. I want it crunchy, so I'm going to add some extra sugar on top and mix that up so it'll dry. Let's see. And when it cools, it'll be a little hard, and I'll be able to cut it up just like I did with the orange. But I'm going to put a little more sugar because I don't want it to be sticky either. Right now it's very sticky. It's hot, and soft, and I want it to be dry, cool, not sticky, and you know, at a consistency that I can easily cut it. So I'm just gonna kind of pull it apart a little bit. Hasten the drying, because I can't really do the cookies until I get this done. And the cookies, well, they're done up to the point that I add this. You know, it wouldn't have been a bad idea to put this in a jar or something and shake it up. But I think I'll just go with this. So I'm just gonna set this aside. I'm gonna turn off this recorder and I'm going to go read, I think, until this is ready to add. Okay, so the lemon peel is ready to go. Well, a lot of sun in here. I'm gonna come close the blinds. I should have done this before I started the video. Okay, that's better. So, as I was saying, here's the lemon peel. It's cool, it's hard, it's perfect. Okay, and by the way, here's the syrup. Which I will place in a glass bottle and stick it in the fridge. But let's get back to this. This is the next thing we got to do. Cut up 1/4 cup. Here's my 1/4 cup. And, you know, I have to cut it like I did before. Now, this isn't as hard as the orange ones, because the orange ones have been sitting in the cabinet for a year. And this is fresh. It'll be fine though. So I'm just gonna finely chop a 1/4 cup. Okay, I have my lemon peel, and it was so much easier to chop this than it was the orange. So anyway, I'm gonna drop that in there. You can't, it says fold in, but I mean, this is a thick thing. I don't know about, I always think of folding in as something gentle that you're doing, so you don't disturb the, I don't know, continuity. Anyway, just get it mixed in however you can. You know, we fold in egg whites, things into egg whites or into cake batter. Those things are delicate. This, just get it mixed in. It's not a huge amount of dough. I don't even know how many this is going to make. That's all right. I got a lot of other cookies I'm making, so if I don't have many of these, it's okay. All right, I think that's pretty evenly mixed. So, I have my pan. And we're gonna get down to business. So I mentioned these Backoblaten. It's German. I don't speak German. Whatever, however you say that, we're gonna use these. So I don't know how many cookies this is gonna make, but I think I'm gonna need a number of these. So I'm just gonna put these down. They're very fragile, so be careful. You don't need a whole lot of room around them. So anyway, I'll deal with that. So I want to get a rounded tablespoon of dough. Let's see how that works. Let's just try it. Put it on this thing. Oh, you know what? No, I'm going to do this first. I'm going to take out my ring for starters. So this, I don't know if that's enough. That's about a little more than an inch ball, 1.25 inches, might need 1.5 inches. Let's see if it works. So I want to press it down to fill that circle. Yeah, I think this is a good amount. Uh-oh. I like to try to get it all the way to the edge and kind of make it nice and neat. You don't really want to see that white thing sticking out on the bottom. I don't anyway. Okay. There, make it nice and neat. Voila, there's your first cookie. And that's on the bottom. And that's what you want. So, I'm gonna go ahead and roll the balls and put them on these things so I can, judge how many I need. I just wanna make a point here. These white things are very fragile, so don't try to do it in your hand. Do it on a surface like this. So you're pressing down, just gently turning, just trying to cover that white. And get around the edges, still be careful. And the cookie dough is about 1/4 of an inch thick, maybe a little more. Not much more. And then when you get it nice and pretty much covered, just very gently place it on the pan. And that's all. All done. At least ready to go in the oven. Check it out. So it turns out that I have 20 cookies. That's fine. I mean, this isn't something you're gonna just, eat like potato chips. So I'm gonna bake them for 13 to 16 minutes at 325, and then you'll see what's next. So I just want to tell you, be very careful when you're taking those pans to the oven, because those white things on the bottom of the cookies are very slippery and you don't want one falling in the floor. So just that. Okay, the cookies have baked. They're done. All I have left to do is put the chocolate icing on it, which I'm gonna do tomorrow, but you won't know because it'll all be one video. Anyway, here's the cookies. Yummy, huh? Yeah. Hi, I'm back. I baked the cookies yesterday. Today I have to finish them up, and that's what we're gonna do now. So let's look. What I have here is the cookies baked. There's 20 of them. Here's a cookie sheet, and I've got a piece of wax paper here on top. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I use. It sounds a little weird maybe, but it does come in handy. So years ago, I was with a friend, a Chinese friend. Oh, actually Taiwanese, excuse me, at the beach. And he was showing me that you could collect pebbles and use them to put your chopsticks on, to hold them up. And so I brought the pebbles back from the beach, washed them up, and I've used them many times, not so much with the chopsticks, but what I like to do is when I have something like this, it's, it's very slippery, or maybe it's parchment paper is really bad about curling up. So I just put the paper down, and I put the pebbles on the corners just to hold it in place. Once I get a few things, on here, I don't need anything to hold it in place, but I thought I'd show you that little tip because it's kind of a nice little thing to do. All right, so I got this. I'm going to put the cookies outside of the camera view because you don't need to be looking at that. And here's this. This is where we're going to be doing the work. And this right here is a bowl. It's a microwavable bowl with 6 ounces of semi-sweet chocolate, 2 ounces of unsweetened chocolate, and half a stick of butter, which is 1/4 cup. So I'm going to put this in the microwave. So I'm going to put this in the microwave and start it out with 30 seconds. I'm going to do it in little increments because, I don't want it to get too melty because then the chocolate won't harden on the cookies. So let's just do this. Actually, the fact that it's got the butter in it, that's going to make it harden on the cookies. So don't worry too much about that. So here we go. Into the microwave for 30 seconds. Okay, it is melted. Let's see how much. So, all right, the butter is melted, as you can see. Chocolate, not so much. That's okay. So I'm going to stir it. Oh, no, I'm not going to stir it. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds. Got to melt that. Another 30 seconds. Let's see how it looks. Yeah, it's getting there now. So I'm going to set that down. See if I can stir it now. A little bit. Okay, it's getting there. I'm going to give it another 30 seconds. All right, got another 30 seconds. And it's more melty. Let's see what happens when I stir it. Oh, sorry about the shaky camera. Okay. Okay, I can feel a little lump still in there. So let's just stir that up. And I'm going to try 20 seconds this time because here, I'll show you. Here's my remaining chunk. All right, 20 seconds. 20 seconds later, here we are. Ooh, kind of hot. Stir it up. And I see one little lump, and I'm not going to microwave that anymore because that'll help it to harden. This is about tempering the chocolate. And if you don't know about that, maybe want to look it up. Or, Anna, you can ask me later. Okay, that's nice and smooth. Looks good. So, let's move over to the cookies. Okay, we got our pan, we got our chocolate, and we got our cookies. So what are we going to do? Very simply, we're going to dip the cookie halfway to in the chocolate. So it's just going to cover half the cookie. So here goes. And I'm going to put it on this so it doesn't mess up the pan. Okay, let's go. Oh, by the way, check it out. Pretty cool. All right, halfway. So it's not quite deep enough for me to go straight down. I'm going to move the spoon out of the way. Oh, shucks. Okay. And I'm just going to tilt it so I can, dip it halfway. Here we go. Yeah, that looks good. So let it drip. And then put it on the wax paper, and I'll remove a pebble. Don't need it anymore. Do a couple more, and then I'll let you go and do it yourself. Look at my shadows. All right, here we go. Dip it in halfway. Drip, drip, drip. And put it on the wax paper. Obviously, you don't want them touching because you want to let that sit. So just don't even touch those cookies until that chocolate has set. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of them, and I'll show you what it looks like. And now they are done. So, you want to see? Here we go. There you go. Aren't they beautiful? So I would love to eat one and tell you how yummy they are, but I'm not going to touch them until that chocolate is set. Let's look again. So see how shiny it is? So when it's set, it'll be a little more matte. In fact, I'm not sure if you can tell, but these are already starting to lose that shininess. Look at the ones that I just did. See, they're more shiny. Well, I don't know if you can tell, but you'll see. Just watch them and you'll see that shininess go away, and it's like a matte finish. And maybe I'll take a bite and add a little piece at the end of this video. We'll see. Okay, they are set, and I usually pick the ugliest one to eat myself because, you know, I want to give away the pretty ones. But they're all pretty. So, here we go. Here we go. It's dry, it's beautiful, and I bet it's going to be delicious. I was right. It's delicious. Try it.